Ferrari is in the middle of a storm they never expected, and tonight the chaos has reached a point where Charles Leclerc has stepped forward to defend Lewis Hamilton in a way that has shocked the entire paddock. Nobody thought the relationship between Ferrari's biggest signing in a decade and the man who has carried the team for years would ever be questioned this early. But the tension inside Maranello is far deeper than anyone imagined. And now, for the first time, the cracks are visible. It all began with a single message from Ferrari chairman John Elkann, a message that hit the team like a thunderbolt. He told his drivers to talk less. 2 simple words, but they carried a weight that instantly sent the F1 world into a frenzy. Fans wondered who the message was for. Experts tried decoding it. Journalists asked whether Elkann was frustrated, angry, or simply disappointed. But everyone reached the same conclusion. The message wasn't aimed at Charles Leclerc. It wasn't aimed at the engineers. It wasn't aimed at the mechanics. It was aimed at Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton arrived at Ferrari with the aura of a 7-time world champion, a man known for pushing teams forward and demanding excellence. But Ferrari wasn't ready for the reality he brought with him. Instead of a championship-winning machine, Hamilton walked into a team struggling with inconsistency, development delays, and a car far below the expectations he had been promised. So he did what he always does. He analyzed, evaluated, and delivered brutally honest feedback. He prepared detailed documents. He reviewed Ferrari's systems. He questioned the processes. He challenged the culture. And while some of the team welcomed the honesty, others weren't ready for it. Whispers began spreading that certain Ferrari staff felt resentful of Hamilton's evaluation. They said he was pushing too hard too early, that he was trying to change too much, that he was treating Ferrari like Mercedes. And when tension started building behind the scenes, the media picked up on it quickly, because whenever Hamilton moves, the world watches. David Croft even suggested that the relationship might be under pressure, that maybe both sides had underestimated how difficult the transition would be, and that the most talked-about move in F1 history wasn't working out as smoothly as the PR team wanted people to believe. Ferrari panicked. They saw the headlines building, the narrative spiraling, and the questions getting sharper and more aggressive. And they needed someone to shut it all down before it exploded into something bigger, a voice the fans trusted, someone who could calm the fire without igniting a new one. They needed Charles Leclerc. Before the Las Vegas Grand Prix weekend, Ferrari's PR staff pulled both drivers aside. They were briefed carefully, instructed clearly, and prepared thoroughly. They were told to remain calm, appear united, stay composed, and avoid adding fuel to the speculation. And when the drivers arrived in the media pen, the difference was instantly noticeable. The body language was controlled, the answers were clean, the tone was neutral. It was clear Ferrari wanted silence, not headlines. But the journalists weren't going to let the story slip away. The first question directed at Leclerc was sharp. How is Hamilton fitting in? Is he struggling? Is the relationship with the team under strain? Is Elkann's message about him? Leclerc didn't flinch. He didn't hesitate. He didn't blink. He delivered the line exactly the way Ferrari needed it delivered. I don't think Lewis is struggling at all to find his place in the team. I think there's a really good relationship with Lewis and the team. It was a powerful statement, not because of what he said, but because of the weight behind it. Leclerc wasn't just defending a teammate, he was defending Ferrari's reputation, Ferrari's unity, Ferrari's image, and Ferrari's leadership. He was shutting down a narrative that could have shattered the team from the inside. And yet, the more he defended Hamilton, the more obvious it became that something deeper was happening. Leclerc's words were smooth, but the tension underneath them was unmistakable. When a team is truly united, they don't need scripted reassurance. They don't need PR-filtered answers. They don't need calm delivery statements. True harmony doesn't require explanation. It simply exists. But when a team is under pressure, when the chairman is frustrated, when expectations have collapsed, when one of the biggest stars in motorsport is questioning the internal structure, that's when the PR machine becomes visible. Behind the curtain, the truth is harsher. Ferrari expected Hamilton to adapt instantly. Hamilton expected Ferrari to perform instantly. Both sides miscalculated. The SF-25 wasn't the title-winning machine Hamilton hoped for. The improvements he demanded weren't simple. The weaknesses he exposed weren't small, and the changes he recommended weren't universally accepted. Ferrari is a team built on pride, emotion, history, and tradition. Hamilton comes from Mercedes, a culture built on process, precision, analysis, and constant self-examination. The clash was inevitable. Hamilton's feedback style, which transformed Mercedes into a dynasty, collided with Ferrari's sensitivity to criticism. And when Elkann told his drivers to talk less, he wasn't saying, stay focused. He was saying, stop feeding the fire. Leclerc defended Hamilton again by reminding everyone that the team had expected more from the car at the start of the season. But the way he said it, gently, carefully, almost cautiously, suggested he was choosing every word like a surgeon holding a scalpel. He couldn't blame the team. He couldn't blame the car. He couldn't blame Hamilton, so he blamed expectations. A safe, a neutral answer, and a PR answer, but the most telling part of the entire story is what happened before the controversy even began. Leclerc already knew what Elkann was going to say. They had spoken on the phone. Elkann had planned his message, and Leclerc had been prepared for the fallout. Ferrari knew the statement would be explosive, and they still allowed it to happen. That means Elkann wasn't speaking out of emotion, he was making a point. And what was that point? Pressure, urgency, demand, expectation, a reminder that Ferrari doesn't tolerate excuses, even from their biggest names. The problem is that when a chairman speaks publicly like that, it sends the wrong message to the wrong people. Fans panic, media attacks, narratives form, and suddenly the world believes Hamilton and Ferrari are drifting apart, even if they're not, even if the truth is somewhere in the middle, even if the team is quietly working through its issues behind closed doors. Hamilton knows he must adapt. Leclerc knows he cannot lose leadership influence. Ferrari knows they must protect their drivers. But adaptation takes time, leadership takes balance, and protection takes effort that Ferrari hasn't always shown in the past. Hamilton insisted recently that Ferrari is responding to his feedback, but he also admitted the real impact won't be visible until 2026. That is a revealing timeline. When a driver says, wait until the next regulations, he's indirectly saying the current situation isn't ideal. So what does this all mean? It means that Ferrari's biggest challenge isn't the car, the strategy, the development race, or the championship standings. The real battle is inside the walls of Maranello, between expectations and reality, between pressure and patience, between tradition and transformation. And Charles Leclerc, by defending Hamilton, is trying to hold the team together before the cracks split wider. Ferrari fans want unity, they want progress, they want hope. But right now, the biggest question isn't whether Hamilton can bring Ferrari back to the top. It's whether Ferrari can hold itself together long enough for Hamilton to even try. Because when a chairman sends warning messages, when journalists sense tension, when drivers give scripted answers, when PR teams scramble with pre-race briefings, it doesn't look like calm. It looks like fear. So as Leclerc stands there defending Hamilton, telling the world everything is fine, insisting the relationship is strong, one question rises from beneath the surface of the Ferrari storm. Is he protecting Hamilton or protecting Ferrari from itself? That's the real story. And until Ferrari proves otherwise, the internal storm is far from over.